Welcome to Intentional Voices, where communications becomes your power move. I'm Christina.
And I'm GinaLisa, and we're two former TV journalists turned communication experts here to help you align your message with your mission. In our very first episode, we're diving into what intentional communication really means and why your voice can be the most powerful tool that you have as a leader.
Yes. And GinaLisa, I don't know if you want to start where kind of how we got started with this podcast and why we're doing this.
Sure, I actually approached Christina about doing this podcast last year because I was at a point in my life where I finally felt ready to own my own story and share the lessons I've learned, basically the lessons I've learned the hard way. And you were the first person I thought of, not just because we've known each other for 11 years, but because I trust you and you tell me the truth and you keep me grounded and hold me accountable. So we both kind of came from TV. Do you want to talk about how we know each other?
Yeah. So we met, it was my first TV job. It was not yours. But we met in Nebraska. You were actually on the other side of the state to start with and moved to the station I was at. And you were at the same. I think we went to dinner or something, and
We went to
the
happy
first time we
hour.
met, yeah, we went to happy hour. Maybe that's what it was. We went to happy hour, and instantly we connected, and literally were attached at the hip in Nebraska. People could not.
Yes.
They knew us together. So
Yeah, pretty much. Sunday Fun Day was a thing, and it
yes.
was Gina, Lisa, and Christina.
Yes.
And now, like, since we both came from TV news, but I mean, we're definitely not like clones of each other. Our experiences are way different. After television news, I ended up moving back to where I'm from. I'm from California, and I've been in the wine industry for the last 9 years. I'm going to be with the company 10 years come this summer, and I've had a variety of different roles. I've had a communications role, and now I am in public affairs and government relations. So I'm excited to bring my experience to this podcast and just talk about the lessons learned. And I know that Christina, she has her own very exciting path.
Yeah. Yeah, so I stayed in TV for a little bit longer, won a couple of awards, did breaking news, all of that stuff, and then got out. Gosh, maybe like 3 to 4 years after you did. And then I went into government for a minute. And that was actually during COVID. So what a transition from TV to government. And now I work in nonprofit and I do a lot of executive communications, oversee that area. And then I also do public speaking on the side. So I'm seeing events and that, all of that fun stuff. So using communications in my everyday life, no matter what I'm doing. And I know, GinaLisa, you do the same and in a totally different space. And so we
Yeah.
have two totally different experiences. And we're not only probably going to learn from each other, but we're going to teach so many people how to communicate better.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. I feel like a lot of the problems we face just as like a society, whether it's personally, professionally, in business and leadership, it really does come down to communication. And I feel like if we communicated more clearly and more intentionally, we could
Yes.
solve a lot of problems.
Yeah. And we're living in a world right now where it's a lot of email communication, a lot of phone communication, and we're not getting to that human to human connection as much anymore, but people are craving it. And when they get in front of somebody else, they blank or they don't use their voice because they're afraid to, because they don't know what to say. And your voice is really your superpower, but you need to use it intentionally.
And that's exactly why we created this podcast, Intentional Voices, the podcast.
Yes. Julie, so what are you most excited to talk about, through this journey? Well, like, what's your hot topic that you're excited that we'll talk about later?
That's a good question, because I feel like everything comes down to strategic comms
Mm-hmm.
and what encompasses strategic communications, because I think a lot of people just think, oh, it's marketing or it's PR or um, you know, it's digital marketing and social media, but it's like so much more than that. Just
Mm-hmm.
putting it all together is what I'm excited to talk about.
Yeah, because there's so many different pieces, and now roles are encompassing all of those different things in them. And people are now having to have wider skill sets in order to do it. But really, it all comes back down to how you communicate. And that's how most problems are solved, is through communication and also the lack of clarity as well. So I will say I'm excited to talk about how you can clearly communicate better and have better relationships, because it's all about relationship building. So building those
Mm-hmm.
relationships with the way that you communicate.
Yeah. No, I agree. And there's just so many different ways to do that as well. It's like storytelling. For example, we both come from storytelling backgrounds. That's what you do in journalism is you become expert storytellers. And you can do that, through written communication, or I know the two of us have a lot of experience with video and telling very visual stories. So I think, I'd love to talk about tips and tricks for people listening in and how they can become really good storytellers.
Yeah. And I think that's the key too, is in a world of AI, is people are missing those human stories, or people don't know how to tell their story. They are like, I don't even know how to relay to people what it is that I do, or what my mission is, or my organization's mission is, because they use internal words or jargon that the general public wouldn't use. And I would say that's something that we both learned in TV real quick, is how to take complex things and make it so, a 10-year-old would understand it.
Oh yeah, we had to become experts in that particular area just within hours and then present it live on the news. So it really was probably the best training ground um, for just what we do now. I just feel like communication is so much more than getting the word out.
Mhm.
Um, a lot of people just think, oh, just send that press release off, just what else? Oh, just post something on social media. But really, communication is so much more than that. It's really all about connection as
Yeah,
well.
and building that community. People are craving connection and community through these things. So we're going to delve into so much. But it is funny, going back to our Nebraska days. GinaLisa and I originally had a different podcast that we wanted to start back in the day, and I'm glad we didn't. But it would have been really funny.
It would have been pretty hilarious, but
Yes.
yeah, I'm glad we didn't do that one.
Yeah. We would have been like first on the podcast scene, probably, because that was like in the early days of podcasts. Who knows where we would be? So I'm
I
glad
know.
that we, went through our careers and we are doing this now, because I think we're going to help a lot more people through this, and a lot more people use their voices.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of funny that you mentioned that because the both of us were on Snapchat quite a bit, and we create a lot of content on Snapchat back, how long ago was that?
Oh gosh.
2015, so
Yeah.
over 10 years ago, a decade ago. But I feel like we were content creators back
Yeah.
then. Like
We
we
were
really,
definitely,
that was before it was like you could monetize it.
I know, we probably would have made a lot of money. I'm glad it was kind of
Yeah, we
before
could have.
we were young, when we first met. We were like, early
Hmm.
20s. We Now we are grown adults.
Right.
Kind of,
Times have changed.
We still like to have fun. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
but
So
yeah. We just wanted we just really wanted to give everybody a little bit a taste of who we are and what we're going to do and what we're going to continue to talk about. So I hope everybody joins us for this journey. You know, we're going to laugh, but we're also going to learn, right?
Yeah, and maybe we should drink wine because we need more people to drink wine.
Yes. There we go.
So,
You know what? We can do we can add a little like taste test segment of your wines, California wines. I'm in Michigan and GinaLisa is in California. So, you know, you might have to tell me what store to go to to buy what wine.
well, fun fact, Christina's also worked in the wine industry.
Yes, I have. So, you know, we have
Give
a lot
yourself
of
more credit.
overlappings.
Yeah, give yourself more credit. You know stuff about wine.
I do. I do. I do. Yeah, it is kind of funny how our paths have not been the same, but they've kind of overlapped throughout time in our
Yes,
different industries. You're
absolutely.
definitely know more about wine than I do, but I had fun working in the wine industry when I did.
Yeah. Well, I guess speaking of like just overlap and just how our experiences have been like similar but different. I think one thing is constant. I think that you and I we speak with our values in mind, and we speak with like we want people to feel and understand our message, and so I feel like our listeners are going to get a taste of that and how they can incorporate that into their communication skills and into their lives, whether it's business. I almost said business work. That's the same thing.
Or if you're
Business or
building your
personal.
personal brand.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we think we have to talk in a certain way, but really your personal brand is you. And so it should reflect your values.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been saying absolutely a lot. I've noticed, I guess it's like a crutch
That's
word.
going to be, yeah, that's going
So
to be your word.
that's going to be my word
Yeah.
when I'm like thinking about what to say.
You're going to be like, absolutely. So we absolutely hope that you join us on this journey.
Good one. I see what you did there. Well, thank you so much for listening. We're excited. And yeah, I'm excited, Christina. I think this is going to be fabulous.
Yes, I cannot wait till we delve into our topics. Thank you for joining us and learning about GinaLisa and I on this very first episode of Intentional Voices.
We'd love for you to subscribe, share this with a colleague or friend, and start making communication your power move. Next week, we'll talk about the biggest communications mistakes leaders make and how to avoid them.